Cory crashed through the splintered doorway into the next room, lungs raw and burning as if he'd inhaled bleach. The place looked like a nursery designed by someone who never met a child, walls mottled with peeling animal stickers, their faces warped into grotesque grins, lullabies scrawled in crayon and faded to ghostly whispers by the sun. The smell hit him instantly, the cloying reek of sour milk layered over something feathery, wet, almost metallic, like an abattoir disguised with baby powder. His flashlight beam cut through the gloom, jittering across the glistening floorboards. Something pink and twitching zipped from the shadow of a shattered crib.
Chat, are those?
They were birds, technically, if bird meant a nightmare's fever dream. Little balls of twitchy fluff, pink as raw meat, each about knee-high, wings nothing more than malformed stubs. Their beaks were monstrous, jagged, too large for their lolling heads. They didn't chirp, they screamed, a piercing, warbling note that dragged shivers down Cory's spine. Their eyes were the worst part, too round, bulging, glassy, the wrong shade of almost human. They blinked at him, heads cocked, the way puppies might, if puppies were the spawn of some deranged taxidermist.
Hell no.
Cory breathed, stumbling back as one waddled up and jabbed his shoelace with a beak that clicked and snapped like cheap plastic dentures. The chat window erupted. Kill it with fire, bro, what are those? Those are Opala's kids. OMFG. But Cory barely registered the scrolling panic. He was already backing up, heart pounding, as the room trembled. Something massive shifted behind the frosted glass at the far end, an immense, hunched shadow, wings unfurling in slow, deliberate menace. Every instinct screamed trap. Fight or flight twisted into pure terror. Cory dove, snatching the nearest chick by the scruff of its downy neck. It shrieked, legs spinning, as he shoved it against the push bar, his hands shaking.
Sorry, little dude.
He muttered through clenched teeth, then slammed the door open with his shoulder. She stood there, Opala Eagle. But not the pastel mascot from the menu screen. This was a monster's parody, wings raw and ragged, skin stretched over bone, claws gouging ruts in the concrete. Her neck snaked, segmented snake-like, ending in a beak gaping wide enough to swallow him headfirst. No sound came out, but her eyes, cold, bottomless, drilled right through him. The chick wailed in Cory's fist. Opala's head jerked, those hollow eyes locking onto her child with terrifying intent. She let out a guttural, bubbling moan, a sound dredged from the pit where lullabies turned to dirges. Cory didn't think, didn't breathe. He just moved. His katana flashed, slicing through the chick's neck. Pink fluff and arterial blood exploded across his sleeve. The headless body convulsed, spasming in his grip. Opala froze, her scream cut short, the air thick with the scent of iron and rot. Then she snapped. With a shriek that tore holes in his eardrums, Opala lunged. Her claws shredded the concrete, sparks spraying as she barreled at him. Cory barely got the katana up in time. Her beak smashed into the blade with a metallic screech that vibrated through his bones. He staggered, boots sliding through the sticky drift of pink feathers.
No, no, no.
He howled, spinning, swinging wildly. The steel bit into her neck, deeper, deeper, until something gave way with a revolting crunch. Cartilage, tendon, bone, he felt them all snap. Her head tumbled to the floor, bounced, rolled through a puddle of blood and disappeared under a crib. The rest of her collapsed, trembling, wings twitching before going limp. Chat went berserk. Bro, WTF did I just see? You killed the bird MOM? Streamer war crimes loop. So much blood, Jesus Christ. Cory didn't stop. He rammed his katana through Opala's last staring eye, twisting until the blade ground against the socket. Black gel and blood oozed down the handle, pooling on the floor.
Y'all saw that, right?
His voice quivered. He wiped the blade on her shredded feathers, hands slick with gore, chest heaving.
Self-defense, clearly.
Around him, the chicks scattered, shrieking, their glassy eyes huge with terror. One tugged at his shoe, desperate to drag him away from the carnage, leaving pink smears on the floor. And then, everything flickered, the world shuddering around him. The lights overhead buzzed, stuttering, casting the room in sickly, jaundiced flashes. Something stood at the front of the classroom, a figure tall and skeletal, her pigtails drooping like nooses. Bambelina. Her smile stretched impossibly wide, exposing rows of tiny, jagged teeth. Her plastic eyes glinted, catching the light and pinprick flashes that burrowed into Cory's skull.
Oh.
She sang, her voice syrupy and layered with static, as she tilted her head so far left that vertebrae audibly popped.
Looks like we have a new student.
Cory gripped the katana tighter, but suddenly it felt weightless, flimsy, nothing but a toy in a room built for nightmares. The classroom chairs were bolted to the floor, too small for anyone but a child, and stained with something dark and crusted. Off to the side, a round table stood alone, its wood splintered, the grain blackened as if burned or saturated with old blood. Bambelina's fingers twitched, each joint bending backwards, cracking, stretching.
You're one of the unpopular kids.
She crooned, disappointment dripping from every word.
That means you have to sit at the unpopular table.
Her giggle stuttered, skipping like a corrupted audio file, echoing in Cory's skull. He shuffled back, boots scraping in a sticky mess of feathers and blood, but the door behind him hissed and sealed, trapping him inside the nightmare classroom. Chad exploded. Dodge! Her eyes! Her eyes! She's moving wrong. But Bambelina was already advancing, body jerking in broken, stop-motion spasms, her shadow stretching impossibly long across the blood-stained floor. Cory blew out a ragged sigh through his teeth and slumped into his seat, the exhaustion in his bones louder than his breath. The old wood groaned beneath him, the legs shrieking with a tortured scrape that echoed off the too-close walls like a warning. For a second, Cory thought the chair might collapse, or bite him. At the front, Bambelina spun around, her pigtails lashing the air like whips, wild and alive as snakes. Her eyes snapped to Cory, black pits ringed with white, and her mouth twisted into something that tried to be a smile but looked more like a wound.
No noise.
She snapped, voice suddenly ancient, sharp as broken glass, slicing through the classroom's hush. Her knuckles went white around a stick of chalk as she scrawled Lesson 1 across the board, the letters dragging down the slate in thick, glistening trails, syrupy and viscous, as if the chalk itself was bleeding. On Cory's battered camera, the live stream feed glitched and sputtered, screen flickering as the timestamp crawled backward. 11:59 p.m., 11:58, 11:57, like time itself was unraveling, pulling him deeper into nightmare. Bambelina began humming, off-key and tuneless, some ancient nursery song that made Cory's skin prickle with cold. The sound wormed into his skull, coiling behind his eyes, making him want to claw at his own ears. The unpopular table wasn't empty tonight. In the center squatted a crude lump of clay, shaped almost like a child, but wrong, its arms too long, its squat body hunched, its face a mash, twisted scream, mouth gaping in silent agony. Cory's hand moved without thinking, fingertips brushing the clay's cheek. It was hot, hotter than flesh, pulsing with a fever that was almost alive. The chat exploded in frantic messages as the clay thing twitched, its mouth stretching wider and wider, the clay splitting, oozing dark red from its lips. Bambelina didn't even glance back.
Today's lesson
She sang, her voice honey-sweet and rotten.
is sharing.
The chalk snapped in her fist, splintering and sending a fine spray of dust across the board like bone shards. Something scuttled under the table, quick, hungry. Cory jerked his knees up and barely dodged a slick, unfinished clay hand that shot out, fingers fused and glistening, nails sharp as needles. It scraped his boot, leaving a bloody smear. The chat went wild with panic and gore emojis. Bambelina giggled, the sound bubbling up from her throat, high, shrill, and wrong, a sound that didn't fit the mouth it came from.
Oh, you're popular with the unpopular kids.
She whispered, her neck bending backward, vertebrae popping one after another as her chin pressed deep into her spine. Her smile split wider, lips tearing as blood trickled down her chin. The clay figure lurched upright, limbs stretching, joints popping, fingers weaving together like dough so wet it dripped, dripping red onto the floor. Cory's katana was already half drawn when the lights snapped off, plunging the room into a darkness so deep he could taste it, metallic, suffocating. He didn't wait. He bolted, boots skidding through sticky puddles. Bambelina's laughter slithered after him, ragged and gasping, her footsteps stuttering like a broken metronome, echoing through the black. The door slammed behind him, hard enough to rattle every locker in the hall, the metal doors trembling like they feared what was coming. Cory's lungs burned, throat raw with panic, as he rounded a corner, and crashed into something cold, damp, and yielding.
Yo, what?
He gasped, hands sinking wrist deep into something that felt like raw liver. The thing blinked, 6 lidless, milky eyes rolling and focusing on his face, set in a face like a melted candle, slug-like and glistening. Slow Seline blocked the corridor, her massive shell scraping the ceiling, peeling away paint and plaster with a sound like fingernails on bone. Cory gagged, bow rising as the smell of rot and blood filled his nose.
Chat, we got a snail situation.
At the far end of the corridor, Bambelina's shadow stretched impossibly long across the floor, her pigtails writhing like severed electrical cords. Cory didn't hesitate. He leapt onto Seline's back, boots slipping on the glistening slickness of her shell, a shell riddled with cracks and dark stains that looked suspiciously like dried blood.
Move, girl.
He shouted, smacking her neck with the flat of his blade, leaving a red smear. Seline hissed, a wet, guttural sound. Her eyes spasmed, and then she lunged forward, faster than any snail should move, slime spraying from under her as she surged down the corridor. Bambelina's shriek shattered the air, full of hatred and hunger, just before Seline's massive body slammed her into the wall. The sound was sickening, a wet, meaty crunch, bones shattering, blood exploding in a wide arc across the lockers.
Bye.
Seline gurgled, her voice thick, bubbling with blood, as Cory slipped off her back near an old, battered elevator, its doors dented and stained with black streaks. The doors creaked open, revealing nothing but a gaping chasm of darkness, the smell of rust and rot wafting out. Cory hesitated, just a heartbeat, then turned back to Seline, her massive body writhing, blood oozing from cracks in her shell.
Sorry, big girl.
He muttered. In one smooth, practiced motion, his katana flashed through the air. Seline's eyes dropped to the floor with a wet, splattering sound, like overripe fruit, her scream echoing down the corridor, a sound of pure, animal agony as she thrashed, slime and blood spraying the walls, painting everything red and black. Cory dove into the elevator, boots slipping in gore. The doors crashed shut, sealing him inside. Bambelina's furious shrieks and Seline's dying thrashes were cut off, leaving only the low hum of the elevator and Cory's ragged breathing. The car jolted, then dropped so suddenly Cory's teeth slammed together, blood filling his mouth from a bitten tongue. Above the door, the display flickered and spasmed. Before, the playroom.
Playroom my ass.
Cory spat, wiping viscous snail blood from his blade with shaking hands. The chat lost its mind. Asterisk. Bruh, you monster. Asterisk. Snail sighed. Asterisk. Blood for the blood god. But Cory only listened for another sound. Something was moving above him, something heavy, dragging, and relentless. The thump, thump, thump of something alive, something hungry, getting closer. The elevator lights flickered, and a single, sticky drop of blood fell from the ceiling, splattering on Cory's cheek, cold as death.